So, like a week ago, I was in this field and I found a shell casing to a Spencer carbine, a bullet casing. And I got home, I was going through my finds box, and I didn't have it. And I don't even, thinking back, I don't even remember putting it in my finds box. I don't know. Anyhow, I think I left it out here. I think I covered the hole up, and I may have just set it down. So anyhow, aside from relics, new relics I'm hoping to find today, I'm hoping to rediscover that Spencer shell casing that I set down. I know the general area. What I'm finding right now, which stinks, is that it rained since I was out here, so the holes that I dug and covered up, I think they were all disguised by the rain now, because I'm not seeing anything. But anyhow, we'll hope we'll find it, and other relics along with it. It's like a screaming signal, but I can see on the 2D screen it's just all garbled. That's gonna be aluminum. But it's deep. But we'll just confirm it on the screen. It looks all garbled and not worth digging. So let's just confirm that. Got it out. Dropped it back in the hole. Okay, here we go. Are you serious? Are you serious? That's a bullet. How in the world did I get a signal like that? That makes no sense whatsoever. Well, yeah, now it's given just a... That's crazy. Now it's giving me the signal that I would be looking for. But yeah, heck yeah, that's a Civil War bullet. And that thing struck something. Let's see what kind. Man, this thing has got just such a dark coating. That brown crust. It's on the outside. This one is darker than I normally see. And underneath it is that white oxidation. But what is it? Let me see if I can see the rings. I can see on the top right there, you can tell how it's this crease around the top is from the soldier just ramming it down his barrel with that ramrod way too hard. The barrel's got dirty. Black powder is filthy to shoot. Even modern day black powder rifles, when you shoot them, the gunpowder is just real dirty, and the barrel gets gunked up and pretty quick. So it could be why he's having to ram it down the barrel, but also just in panic, the fear of being in battle. You see a lot of that. Yeah, there's rings on it. I'm gonna have to clean that up a bit more just to see what kind of bullet it is. I almost see rings right there, but I can't really tell. So I can't say this is like a 3-ring mini ball. I know in this area right here, the Confederates were firing at the Union. So right here I found Confederate bullets. So that would be cool if this was a Confederate bullet, because they're a lot more rare. Alright, so just dug this up. Wasn't the normal Civil War bullet signal. It was different. It's obviously, this is a bullet. It's a Civil War bullet. It's got the same crust, and underneath it is a white oxidation. But right here you can see the back end of the bullet. It's mushroomed. It hits something, but it's a really small caliber. But the very base of it, looking at it, I can almost see, as deformed as the rest of the bullet is, I think I can see the base is still a circle that I can measure with a caliper, and that might help me identify it. But I found several of these right here that were fired during the Civil War, but they were much smaller calibers, like, I don't know, pistols or what. There's just so many variations of bullets and weapons that were used during the Civil War, but it'll be interesting to see if I can help identify this little guy right here. So I'll keep looking.
So this little bullet right here, unfortunately, I'm not able to calibrate it. It's deformed to the point where you can't get a good measurement on the back of it. I found a lot of them in these Civil War areas, and because of the oxidation on it, it puts it in that age range of all of the other relics and bullets I'm finding around it. Being from the Civil War, it's pretty evident when you're finding other lead bullets. A lot of them are copper jacketed, more modern bullets, but that white oxidation on the lead, and especially the brown crust on the outside of the white oxidation, is a dead giveaway. But unfortunately, I can't place it. But there are just a lot of small caliber rounds that were used in pistols during the Civil War, and this has got to be from one of those.
All right, so I'm doing a little experiment here. So I was going, and I got a signal that was just barely, not even a blip. So I'm trying to focus on really, really faint signals. But this, so I dug a little bit out, saw that the signal was maybe getting stronger, maybe turning into something. So I kept digging, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to dig the biggest hole I've ever dug in metal detecting. I want to see what's going on. So I just dug down there. I don't know how deep that is. But so now in this pile, supposedly there's something. It was like a 30, trying to be a 35. So let's see if I just dug a piece of aluminum for, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. That's a Spencer carbine casing, but that's perfect. I've never found one this perfect. This is in perfect condition. Look at that. Aside from the patina, that is like just as if it was fired today. Look at that. I found several of those here on this property, but never one like this. They're always bent. The best one I've ever found is actually smashed in a little bit, but that is perfect. That's awesome. That's so cool that that's like 18 inches deep. And yeah, just to see, I wanted to see if there was actually something down there, and there was.
So this Spencer shell casing is pretty cool. It was found so deep. I know that has to do with why it's in such perfect condition. Normally when you find them, they're either just remnants or they're all smashed up. So I found a lot of them, but to find one in this good a condition is definitely rare and very cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this again. Kind of experimenting. So here is a target that is really not showing up on my 2D screen. It's not even giving me, it's barely there. Not even a full like tone in my headphones. But I'm going to dig this and see if the signal improves as I take dirt out. Now it's showing in the 90s. Now it's, look at that, now it's showing in the 90s. Yeah, it's down there. But the bullets I've been getting have been super deep. So whatever has gone on in this field over the years, plowing, it's like in this area, at least of the field, the relics are really deep. Which is fun because, you know, in areas where you think that you've already detected, I'm going back over that stuff. Targets, okay, so I got it in my hand. Get out of here. Look at that. Look at that. This is paying off, this little experiment. That's a bullet. That is a bullet. Look at that. So yeah, this is like, these are so deep, but that's like the pay layer. These things are sitting like 12 to 18 inches down. Now other parts of this property, they're not that way. They're the average bullet, I would say, is like 6 inches, 4-6 inches in. But in this area, no way, man. They're deep. So we're gonna clean this up at home because, I mean, a lot of what I'm digging right here are Confederate bullets, Confederate fired bullets. So I'm gonna check this out, clean it up. That's insane. Well, I'm on to something now. I gotta be digging all these. Just listen to my detector, I guess. Don't just, you know, obviously I'm digging the ones that are ringing out to me, but I'm gonna go back and just pay attention to every little thing that could be, or thought was, just a little bit of interference. All right, let's keep going.
So I am going over areas that I've detected already. I'm looking for these really faint signals. Now, I know a lot of you are going to look at this and say, well, you should be going after these faint signals anyways, but these are not just, I wouldn't call them just faint signals. These are barely a blip. They don't show a number. It's just hardly anything on the detector, really. And my Manticore goes deep. I've got the sensitivity turned way up. But these are interesting. They're fun because I'm going back, I'm finding things that I'm telling you, you would never normally dig. It's just barely anything there. But what I'm finding is that these targets are really deep. And it's just turning out to be a lot of fun trying to, you know, explore signals that are really not even there.
All right, so I'm walking. I was gonna go track my buddy down who's detecting in a different part. And I kind of had to do a double take because my detector went off. So I'll tell you as I'm telling him. Hey, so I'm coming back to get you, and I'm like just moving my I'm swinging as I'm walking, but I just got this big old loud sound, and I have done nothing right here except for one shovel and flipped the plug out of the hole.
Cool. Wow.
Look at that. Spencer carbine.
That's cool.
That's awesome. So here's the thing. Look at this. This thing is in super good shape. See how it's crushed right here on the top? Yeah. Now this is super good shape for what I found here. Most of them are fragments. You get the back piece, maybe a little bit coming up, but they're usually pretty torn up or caved in. But yeah, this is awesome. So this is a lot of more than likely a cavalry soldier had a Spencer carbine rifle and was firing like right where we're at, or at least the rounds were discharging, because I found another one, like I would say in a 30-foot radius. Bullet right there. So that's crazy. You have to focus on this area. All right, we'll keep going.
Hey, I wanted to clarify something. In my videos, these Spencer shell casings, I've been referring to them as a Spencer carbine shell casing. Now, there was the Spencer rifle, which in a previous video I went into detail about. It was patented in 1860 and how Christopher Spencer got it accepted by President Lincoln, and they basically supplied the Union Army with Spencer rifles. Now there's a difference. A Spencer rifle has a longer barrel. It's the same action, same everything, it just has a longer barrel. The Spencer rifle was initially issued to the Union Navy. As it progressed, other troops had Spencer rifles too. Now the Spencer carbine had a shorter barrel, that's why it's called a carbine. Those were issued to Union cavalry. Being on horseback, they were easier to maneuver, being a shorter barrel. So when I say Spencer carbine shell casings, I'm saying that for a reason. These were fired from Spencer carbine rifles because based on the information that I have where I'm specifically at, this was where the Union cavalry was. So I know for a fact that they were using the Spencer carbine rifles. And it's cool in this area because I've got it pinpointed and I have information so specific as far as where I'm at. I know that the Union Army on horseback was firing at the Confederates. The Confederates, I know where they were, and they were firing back. So in these areas, I'm finding a bunch of Spencer carbine shells or Spencer rifle casings, and I'm also finding Confederate bullets that would be incoming. Whether or not they hit their target, I don't know. Some of them look like they do, but I'm finding them right around and behind where I know that the Union cavalry was firing on them, and that's why I refer to them as Spencer carbine casings.
Look at that. It's a deep target, but that's a strong target. Man, you'd practically trip over this. This target's so strong. Dang. It's in the plug. What? Is there two? Or is that? I feel like I got a signal right there. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's a bullet right there. Right at the bottom of the plug. That was perfectly dug. It's just right at the base of it. Chopped right out. Okay, so this one's eaten up. This one's eaten up a bit. It's definitely fired. So let me see. First, let me check this cord or this plug. It'd be cool if there was more than one. Nope, just the one. Alright, so let me see how far. I'm like 15 feet. 15 feet from my last one. So in this line for the most part, in this field, if I go back from where I'm at now, I'm finding Confederate bullets, Spencer carbine bullet casings. So you can literally see, based on the relics, one side shooting at each other back and forth. So this is obviously a hot spot I'm finding. So I'm gonna keep digging. All right, this one's a really loud, like 50s, 54, 55. Not deep. But that's just a loud, probably like a big. Look at that. Look at that. It's just like screaming out there. Another bullet. And let me see. No, it's not a Pritchett. It's got rings. I can't tell how many. I'll have to check it out, look at the base, but this hit something, as you can see. It definitely hit something. Almost looks like 3 rings. But we'll check it out. But that's awesome. That was, yeah, that was weird. That was 4 inches down.
So deep targets and weak signals. Now, when you get a tone or you get an ID on your metal detector screen, if that is up towards the surface, most detectors, or I should say a lot of detectors, give you kind of a depth guesstimate on that target. But obviously, if a target is closer to the surface, it's going to be clear, it's going to ring out loud, whereas if it goes way down deep, it's not going to be as loud and apparent. Now, that also has to do with the size of the target. So if you've got just a tiny target, and maybe it's not so deep, you could have that same effect. So you really don't know if it's a super deep target or if it's just a really small item, but you can kind of see on the Manticore. I see a depth gauge, so each hash mark is about 2 to 3 inches, and so yeah, looking for these deep targets, you want to listen. You want to listen to your detector. It goes into knowing the detector. So if you use something else, I use the Manticore and CTX 3030, but I am very tuned in to my detector. So that's what I always tell people, regardless of what detector you're carrying, you need to be in tune with that. You need to obviously read the instructions and know everything that does. But after a while, you're going to kind of get familiar with it and recognize the sounds, the sensitivity, and you just got to go out and dig a lot of holes in order to get to that point. But yeah, that's kind of a little snapshot on weak signals and deep targets.
All right, so I'm going back over parts of this field that I've detected a lot. And I'm looking for faint signals because I'm finding in this area right here bullets, finding a lot of Spencer carbine shell casings, but like right here, it seems like the pay layer is super deep right here. So I'm going back and I'm looking at these super faint signals, and I'm digging down. So that's what we're doing here. So it's like it's in the right range for a bullet. It's like in the 50s, but it's, you know, until you start digging dirt off the top, it's just really not clear what it's going to be. So let's see. I think it's out of the hole. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I love that sound. When you just feel the dirt in your hand, you hit it with your pinpointer. There is nothing like that. What the heck is this? It's a bullet, but I've never seen a bullet like this. Look at that. And what I'm finding is that this is the Confederates that are firing back at the Union. The Union cavalry was here. That's why we're finding these Spencer carbine casings. They're the ones who had the cavalry. They're the ones who had these rifles. And what I'm finding all around are Confederate fired bullets. Returning fire. But look at that. Looks like a witch's hat. But like the whole bottom is opened up. That's going to be interesting to find out what kind of round that is. Now what, that was 12 inches down?
Yeah, so this bullet's pretty cool. It's probably a 3-ring mini ball, but if you can see, it looks like a witch's hat. What happened is after this bullet was fired, for whatever reason, it tumbled in the air, and when it made impact with whatever it hit, it struck it backwards. So kind of unique. I like fired bullets. They kind of tell a story, obviously, if you can figure out what they impacted. Some that go straight into the dirt, some that hit trees, they look different. It's kind of obvious. But yeah, this one's pretty unique, kind of cool.